Well, Broncos Country. Here we are, midweek. It's the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast here on the Orange and Blue Network and on the MHRT Network. We have just gotten to see our Denver Broncos sweep the Raiders in the 2024 season, which felt really good. There's a lot of other news. Players have gone out the door. Who knows what the season's going to look like, but we do know that there's light at the end of the tunnel. It's coming. We can see it. Broncos Country, I'm very excited. I hope you are too. Welcome to the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast. Why don't we just get to it?
Smooth, the pins to chew, breaking down plays about to debut. Denver pride in every view. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Bright lights of my heart in our view. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. From draft picks to game reviews, celebrating wins and the lies and the clues. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. No orange and blue.
Nothing rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast.
Whoa! What's up, Broncos Country? And welcome to another episode of the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast. I'm Johnny Baki, the Mile High Viking, and with me, as always, my cousin, my co-host, my childhood best friend, Jay, the Dreamweaver Weaver. What's up, cuz? How you doing?
Doing well, doing fine. Got positive vibes, it's still a victory week. And people are starting to take notice of us. So
yeah,
it's
and
been
as
awesome,
it
man.
should be.
Absolutely.
As it should be. No more overlooking the Broncos. Like, you're done, okay?
We're turning heads in national media. People are starting to take notice of our team, of like actually taking us serious. A lot of things have reflected that in national media in the last.
We started seeing it last week. After Bo Nix put up those Star Wars numbers against the Falcons. And now this week, even though his performance wasn't necessarily as astronomical as it was against Atlanta, all of them are still going, he still looks good, and this team looks good. And, I'm excited, Jay. I'm feeling the energy just in Broncos Country in general. I'm feeling it, I'm feeling it at work. I'm going to work, and, I actually went to my office. Usually I work remote, but I've been at my office the last 2 days. Thank God I'll be back remote tomorrow because I do love working from home. But
into that.
But going into the office the last 2 days, everybody walking up to me going, dude, the Broncos. I mean, it's not just national media. It's people everywhere. And I don't live in Broncos Country. So when fans of I live near Nashville, so the Titans are king here. And when I walk into the office and all these Titans fans and Steelers fans, I'm the only Broncos fan in the office. And the Steelers fans and the San Francisco 49ers fans. I even know one or two Chargers fans in my office, which is shocking.
Holy cow.
I know they exist. Chargers fans exist. No, they're real. They're real. But anyway, and they're all walking up to me going, dude, them Broncos means that even not just the national media, but the fan bases of them within America, they're starting to take notice too. We're starting to make waves, and that feels good.
It does. Return to relevancy, because we are a proud franchise. This is a franchise that deserves to be recognized in a national spotlight because we have history behind us of winning success.
Baby, yeah!
People already should have our name on the tip of their tongue when we talk about the AFC West, when we talk about the AFC in general. And it just so happens we've had the worst 8-year stretch in our franchise's history, pretty much.
Yes.
At least in relevant history. And that's over. It's done with. We're already at the floor. It's only up from here.
And that's pardon me, I'm so sorry. I apologize, everybody. I have bad lungs, courtesy of burn pits in Afghanistan. Makes it difficult sometimes for me to catch my breath.
You got the black lung pop?
Yeah, you know what? When you work your whole life down in them coal mines breathing that dust, you can talk, okay? But no, for me, it's burn pits in Afghanistan, as a matter of fact. Unfortunately, my tent, my hooch where I slept was only about 150 yards from a burn pit. And very often, as I'd be coming out to, do PT or just head off to work and go on missions or whatever, that wind would just be blowing that smoke right in our direction. And that is toxic smoke. And so a lot of guys just like me suffer from this issue. They're calling it the Agent Orange of the war on terror. So it's unfortunate. A lot of, anybody who served in Iraq, Afghanistan, Kuwait, any of those areas, a lot of us go through this. But unfortunately, it does make it so sometimes I try to hit the mute button in time, but every now and then I just can't quite get there, and I get that cough out, and unfortunately, you guys have to hear it. I apologize.
We'll accept your germs.
Oh, thank you. They're
Absolutely.
not germs. I'm not sick. My lungs are damaged. There's a difference. But anyway, guys, I apologize. Welcome to the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast here on the Orange and Blue Network and simultaneously on the MHRT network. So if this is your very first time ever watching, or you just happen to be watching this over on MHRT network, please jump on over to Orange and Blue Network. Like, subscribe, share, comment on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Catch the audio version of every one of our podcasts on all your favorite platforms. But then, if you're on Orange and Blue Network, please jump on over to MHRT Network. Like, subscribe, share, comment, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch. MHRT's even on Instagram. So go check us out. Go check out both channels. Show us the love. Ring that little notification bell so you don't miss a single bit of our content when any of us go live. We have a lot of fun. We have a really good lineup on both networks, a lot of good shows. You will not regret it, I promise you. Also got to show some love to the sponsor of today's show, which you can find in the link below in the bio. Dubby.gg will take you to Dubby Genderless Energy Blend. This stuff is absolutely amazing stuff. We are so proud to be sponsored by this company. Dubby is an amazing way to start out your day. It's got the caffeine that needs to give you the kick to start your day, because it has every single drink of Dubby has 2 cups of coffee worth of caffeine. However, you don't get the jitters and you don't get the crash later, because Dubby is specially formulated with no sugar. It also has no calories, no maltodextrin, no fillers, and no artificial colors. It is as natural as it comes, made up of amino acids, B vitamins, nootropics, including their patented Neurofactor nootropic, which keep you sharp throughout your day. And the caffeine is derived directly from the coffee plant. It doesn't get any more natural. It's good stuff. You don't get the jitters. You don't get the crash. And you will really like the taste. I am absolutely sure of this. So jump on over to Dubby. Get yourself a dub, just like the Broncos did on Sunday. That's 2 in a row, by the way. We're stacking the dubs. Go on over there. Get yourself the dub. All right? Check out Dubby.gg and check out the sale. Right now, this week only, Dubby is 40% off. Oh, my God. Site-wide for Black Friday. 40% off. And I'm going to make it even better. I'm going to make it even better for you, because when you're in the checkout, in addition to the 40% off you're going to get for Black Friday, you're going to go ahead and punch in code NRWOB10. That's NRWOB10. Gets you 10% off more. So, guys, that's 50% savings on Dubby this week. Jump on over to Dubby. Get yourself the dub. All right, Jay, it's time to talk some Broncos, baby.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
so excuse me, I'm so sorry. So obviously we've already said it. Broncos stacking them dubs. We got 2 in a row now. We're on a roll. Heading into a Monday night showdown at home against the Cleveland Browns, led by Jameis Winston. How are you feeling right now?
Dude, we're going to be supporting those midnight navy blue jerseys with the white caps. I'm super excited to finally see that combo. I know Super Mario Vincenzi is a sneak peeker of our wardrobe I think he drops it at like Saturday nights right before the game.
Mm-hmm.
But this one's dropping early. I'm super excited to see it. It is going to be really good looking, and it's perfect for a Monday night game in Denver. Prime time.
Absolutely. It's nighttime. It's dark outside. The Broncos are going to be dark, but their helmets are going to be flashy and shiny and white and beautiful. I'm hoping. I'm not sure what socks they're going with. Did you catch that? Because
I want to say it's orange socks. So it's
now that's what I was hoping.
Blue, orange. I think it's blue, orange.
I was hoping that they go dark on the socks too, like dark socks, just we're coming for you. We're an army of darkness on Monday Night Football at home, baby. But I guess not. So whatever. It is what it is. I'm not, I don't make those decisions. They won't.
It's going to look gorgeous, I think, either way. We've never seen this with this white helmet, this duration of this white helmet. So
no, we haven't. So we got Andy Schrant in the house. Haven't seen Andy for a while, saying Greg Dulcich might be the worst tight end in history. I don't know about that, but I remember a certain guy named Jake Butt.
I was going to say Jake Butt probably takes the cake for me.
Yeah, definitely. But he may be one of our biggest draft busts. No, top 20 draft busts for the Broncos. The thing, up there with Carlos Henderson and Montreal Washington and Jake Butt,
Brandon Langley, who just decided one day he wanted to be a wide receiver.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to do this. I've never done this before, but I'm going to do this.
Never played it in high school. Never in his. I just want to try something new.
And I want to bring up something, and it's completely unrelated, but it kind of relates. You're talking about doing something you've never done, and I immediately pictured when you said that. Like walking into a hospital, grabbing a white coat, and being like, "I'm a doctor now."
Well, hey,
but like.
It's kind of like the commercials for my company used to have is, are you a doctor? No, but I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Yeah, exactly.
Classic commercial of just doing what, okay, well, sure.
Jay, were you in the board meetings that decided on those commercials?
Boy, I wish, but now we're slinging pancakes for a living for our marketing, but whatever.
Hey, you got, you're a big time guy up there, man. You tell them pancakes ain't going to do it.
No. But Nan, for sure.
But I want to bring this up because it's a funny story and it's had me laughing all day. For those that don't know, what I do for a living, I'm a former Army vet. I'm an Army veteran, and now I work for a company and I do medical quality. I do quality assurance on doctors' reports for other veterans' disability claims, and so that means I sit there and I read through doctors' reports all day long, and I look for inconsistencies and problems, and I let the doctor know like this needs tweaking or something like that, and then we get the report all right before I send it back to the VA for these veterans. And I had one today, and not breaking HIPAA here because I'm not giving any information, I'm not saying any names, numbers, anything like that, but I did have a case today that made me laugh so hard because this person. They were going in, they were going in for this appointment, and they told the doctor and the doctor put it in the report that this person felt cheated because they didn't know when they joined the Navy that meant going out on the ocean. And I just started to laugh. I was like, how did you join? How did you go through the recruiter's office and everything else and not know that you had that the being in the Navy meant going out on the ocean? How did you not know? I'm like, I laughed so hard. And I was like, yeah,
you're born every day.
I'll be a doctor today. Oh, wait, I have to treat sick people? Or, I'm going to be a chef. Oh, but that means I have to cook food?
Yeah.
Just how does that happen? Anyway, I know it's completely unrelated.
It's kind of like Greg Dulcich saying, "Oh, I got to be healthy. I actually have to come to work.
I have to catch."
Yeah.
And so then that's why the title. Moving back to the Broncos now. Going back to Andy's comment about Greg Dulcich. That's why the title of tonight's show is "Denver Done with Delinquent Dulcich." Because that's all he has been for us is delinquent. He either
double
hasn't,
D's right there.
Yeah. No, that's quadruple D, buddy.
True.
That's some big D's.
But
he's never been able to stay healthy, and when he was healthy, he couldn't catch the freaking ball.
Yeah, some big dropsies. Dude, when I heard, I can't remember if it was Mike Kliss or who asked the question, but they said that they were working with Greg this year on how to run, literally how to run again, because they said that his technique of running was causing the hamstring issues and causing the soft tissue issues. So they were retraining him how to literally run. That is wild. I've never heard of a football player learning how to run again. That is,
yeah. And Andy's
dying.
Andy's all up in the comments talking Greg Dulcich right here. He says, "Can we get some insane Greg Dulcich slander tonight?" I'm trying to keep it clean. I'm trying to, we have family that watch the show, so I'm trying to cut back on the curse words some. But we can slander him all we want. I'm so sick of Pantene Pro V. He says my socks I wore when I was 5 are more useful than Greg Dulcich. Yep. He also says he forgot about Jake, and then he said Jake ass and Greg Dulcich, I'll say it, would complete the doo-doo squad. Yeah. It was, he couldn't block, his routes were suspect at best. And then we literally saw it earlier this season, multiple games in a row, multiple passes, hit him in the hands and just fall to the ground. And it's like, dude, we drafted you 80th overall in the 3rd round of the 2022 draft to come in here and solve the tight end problem. And we were all hyped about it, Jay. I think you were.
Correct me if I'm wrong. This is the second tight end that Sean Payton has washed his hands with, because his first order of business was Albert O, right? Okuwebunam going. So that was kind of the pretense to I'm not taking any crap from all of these players that are high profile, high draft picks that are supposed to be something on our roster. Nothing's given.
I've said it ever since we brought Sean Payton here. I have said it does not matter who you are. It does not matter what you've done. It doesn't matter what your name is, how big your contract is. If you can't play and you can't play to Sean Payton standards, you will not be on this team. It is that simple.
That's what it was in New Orleans. I mean, Marquise Colston, which great thing. Did you hear him say Devon Vele needs more touches because he reminds him of Marquise Colston? A perfect comparison. And it made it ding. Oh crap. That's who he sees him as. Oh, Vele's going to be our number 1 or 2 moving forward here. I knew he was going to be a good wide receiver, but I think Sean has bigger plans for him than we all realize. Yes. And that's the thing, is Vele's a 7th round draft pick. He's a nobody. He's a nothing. Dulcich was, I want to say, a 3rd round draft pick out of a, big school, UCLA, was supposed to be a, huge contributor to this offense. And
yes.
We cut ties, and good for Sean for sticking to it.
Absolutely. A 6'10" Mexican, the host of Broncos Talk on Wednesday nights on Orange and Blue Network and MHRT, and also the host of the show that premiered this last Saturday night and will henceforth be on Friday nights, the entirely Spanish podcast, Viva los Broncos. a 6'10" Mexican, Adon Diaz, popping in saying, moving up the ranks, one dub at a time. Absolutely, my friend. Jonathan Blair, our good friend, coming in. Broncos country is wherever you are, homie. There's no limitations. You're in Broncos country right now as we speak. Makes me think, do you remember those videos on YouTube at some years back? I was still in the Army, I know that. Action figure therapy. Did you ever see those?
I don't think so.
Okay, they were hysterical. It was different GI Joes, the little posable ones, and they all had they had different ones, Jungle Fury or whatever his name was, and the medic, and each one had a different voice, and they would do these videos in like a therapist's office, and they'd set the action figure up with a therapist's office background, and they would just talk, and the guy, and like every now and then like the frame would change, and the guy would now suddenly be like, and the next thing he'd be like, 10, 15 seconds later, he'd be in this position or something. Anyway, there was one that I actually had a koozie of for my beer that had, I can't remember which character it was, but it literally said, if I'm standing on it, it's America. And that's how I feel about Broncos country right there, Jonathan Blair. If I'm standing on it, it's Broncos country. So, and then we got Broncos Stampede. That would be our dear friend and, host of hopefully soon the upcoming show on Orange and Blue Network, Orange Fridays. That's Kevin Zano saying, what's up, guys? I love that we get in the love from the media, but I miss when we were the underdogs. Hey, here's the truth, buddy. We are always #underdogs in this league. It is that, unfortunately, we may be getting the love, but they're still gonna overlook us. And they're still going to talk down to us. It's how they always have done it.
Yeah, I was going to say, was it number 10 in Pro Football Focus power rankings? And I want to say number 12 or 11 in ESPN. But like pretty much every single power rankings moved us up like 5 or 6 slots versus a win versus the Raiders of all teams. And I think it's not necessarily like our opponent. It's just, there's another week of the Broncos taking care of their business and another week of consistency, another week of like, that's
Bo
what
Nix protecting the football.
Yeah.
We're doing exactly what we should be doing. Not what anybody expected, to include us in a lot of ways, but we're taking care of business, and I love it. And Billy Timmons says USA Today ranked us 14th. That's correct. However, CBS Sports has us ranked in the top 10 of the power rankings, and I like that. ESPN as well. Thank you, Timmons. So that's another one of my Army buddies right there. Love him to death. It's good to see you, my friend. Greg Dulcich walking out the door, Jay. I want to, that he's been a healthy scratch for what, 6, 7, 8 weeks now?
I was going to say quite a bit of time.
So as a healthy scratch, that's still a roster spot that he was taking up.
Yep.
So now he's gone.
Yep.
So we have a roster spot to elevate someone to. So who gets elevated in your opinion, or who do you think would be smart to elevate right now? Because we got to fill that hole with somebody.
I want to say we just fully activated Drew Sanders today. So
okay, well, I mean that's a good
technically
thing.
The spot, I think. Okay. And then we have oh my gosh, we have someone else that's designated for return. Josh Reynolds. Josh Reynolds is he's on the way back. So I don't think.
And here's the thing, I think Josh Reynolds will come back to the 53, and I think
100%
probably little Jordan Humphrey will drop down to the practice squad.
I don't know. I wouldn't bet that. I wouldn't bet on that.
Then
I think it'll be one of the middle linebackers, like Alexander or something.
Okay. I could see
people that were late ads. So I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see if that does anything from a standpoint of Vele when Reynolds comes back, because Reynolds in the very beginning of the season, I mean, he was number 1 on our team in targets for a couple weeks.
He was, and he had he had very good chemistry with Bo.
He did
early on.
And
he was one of the only ones that had great chemistry with Bo.
That opened the door for other people. So we'll see
absolutely
what that changes.
And we got Big E Bronco popping in. How's everybody doing tonight? Oh, Big E. It's it's victory week still for us. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling good. I'm in a different spot in my house right now, as you can see. My background and everything looks a bit different, and that's okay. That's sometimes you gotta be a little bit flexible and where you do things. So other than that, though, man, I'm having a good week so far, and it's Thanksgiving week, baby. We got a lot in Broncos country to be thankful for.
That is very true. Very true.
D-Rock, our dear friend D-Rock, with the beautiful picture of blue there on his lap, says, "I'm weary about Drew Sanders because he was sketchy last season." Yeah, well, I think he was coming up, though, in a big way this season before he got hurt.
We messed around with him, moving him to the outside. He is an inside linebacker, and we thought that it would be a good idea to move him on the outside. So I think he's going to be a lot better once he sticks to his actual skill set, and we put him in a position to be successful.
Let's talk Drew Sanders' skill set for just a second, right? Sideline to sideline speed, that's insane.
Yep.
I mean, the dude has twitchy hips. He's very good at reading the run and being able to make a quick foot adjustment, and he can turn. He can change direction on a dime. He's very good in the run. He's very good against the run. He can be very from the inside, not the outside, like you said, but from the inside, he's very good against the run, and he's also got good hands in coverage.
Yeah, he's pretty well-rounded. I mean, he had some struggles last season, but I think that before he got hurt, we were seeing some good. I don't want to say production, development out of him at the beginning of this year in the preseason, and then I think he got hurt in week 3. Yeah, no, before that.
So week 1, week 2?
I want to say, yeah.
Somewhere around there. Early in the season, but he was in the game, and we were seeing better play out of him than we had been. So I get the weariness, but at the same time, I'm also excited that he's coming back. Ray Haas popping in saying, "Evening, folks." Biggie Bronco says, "I'm doing pretty good, too. Just got done heckling Captain Jack again, making him look like an idiot." That would be Captain Jack Rackham, a Raiders podcaster.
He's got no ground to stand on.
No, he really doesn't, man. The Raiders don't. They're Raiders just don't. I mean, let's be honest. The Broncos, benched him in their first meeting, benched Minshew in their first meeting, and then snapped his collarbone in their second meeting. He's out. He is out. And from a medical perspective, from a medical background, collarbone breaks are one of the longest healing injuries, bone, at least when it comes to bones, that is out there. It can take up to 8 months, and that's just for the bones to heal enough for you to do physical therapy.
Yeah, he's done. He's done in Las Vegas. He'll be on another team.
Honestly, it could be a career-ending injury for him.
Could be. He's bounced down already quite a bit. But
I thought he was talking retirement a few years ago anyway. So
Daniel Jones is going to be signed there, and he'll probably start because he's right out of the gate a heck of an upgrade to Desmond Ridder. But they're not going anywhere fast.
I'm still not scared of Daniel Jones. We've seen Daniel Jones. I'm not scared of him. Biggie says, "I think they need to find somebody else to do the Wild Wild West because he wants the closet Raider fan doing it like Richie Rich." Oh, leave Rich alone.
Shots fired.
Leave Rich. What was that? Chris Crocker back in the 2000s.
Leave Richie alone.
Leave Richie alone. No, Richie's a dear friend of mine. We used to be co-hosts, and we're good friends. I love that dude. Billy Timmons, what's the depth chart after PS2 and Moss? Something to keep in mind, possibly. I feel like Payton was downplaying it.
Well, Billy, can I inform you on a guy that's behind him? His name is Damari Mathis.
No. You're done. You're out. Nope. I'm dropping Jay out right now. There he goes. I'm just kidding. I brought him back. But no, we're not talking. No. Listen. No. Not even worthy.
Shots at me earlier today on the 5280 podcast.
No.
He was already taking shots.
Damari Mathis isn't worthy of being mentioned in the same breath as Riley
Levi
Moss.
Wallace will start.
Yes, he will.
If Moss is out, and I think Moss
Yes.
will be out for a good chunk of time. I don't think that's because it's an MCL. Like from what it looked like, it looked bad. Like
yeah, but the thing was they were and they said it on Sunday, and they said it again today. It'll probably be a game time decision because he was ready to go back in the game Sunday, and they said no, sit down.
Yeah,
and and so. It may not be as bad as we thought. It is possible, believe it or not, to hyperextend a joint and not tear anything. It doesn't happen often. Generally speaking, the joint isn't meant to go that way. But it is possible to do it and actually not tear anything, just irritate the crap out of it. Inflammation, some discomfort, some bruising. That can happen. If they feel at game time he's ready to go, he'll go, man. And let's talk Riley Moss for a second, because I was looking at his stats. I was looking at his stats today, because I just felt like looking into him a little bit. How he's been doing this season. Obviously, we've been able to see what we see, but did you know, Jay, that Riley Moss is the most targeted cornerback in the NFL right now, and on top of being the most targeted cornerback, he is second. He is second in passes defensed. So think about that for a second.
I mean, anyone opposite PS2 is going to be targeted. Yeah.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, but look at how good he's doing, because not only is he the most targeted, on top of all the other cornerbacks, because you got to think there are what? There's what, 64 starting corners?
Yeah.
And then if you count the nickel position, of course, you add another 32. So you've got 100 plus starting, technically starting cornerbacks in the. You've got almost 100 starting cornerbacks in this league, 96 to be exact. He's the most targeted of all of them. And yet he's number 2 in passes defense.
He has exceeded expectations greatly. We were talking before the season that is he going to be the starter? Like, it was not a guarantee that
I said he was
that slot.
I said he was. I was so high on him.
But that is, again, a microcosm of this team. That is a guy that is extremely overperformed. We can go down the list of people that have done that same thing this year. Nick Benito. Like, holy cow, where have you been? What, like, coming out of nowhere? And Riley Moss is absolutely one of those guys that going into next season, we're not even going to have a question about, like, that's his spot.
Inarguably the best cornerback tandem in the NFL is Pat Surtain and Riley Moss. The two of them together. And like I said, at the beginning of the season, I called it. I said Riley Moss.
I am the smartest man alive.
Hey, Great White Hope. What was it?
Yeah. Joe Brewer says it here. We and Moss should be happy it's just a sprain versus a tear. Look at what that did to Williams. Stole his burst, and it did. ACL, LCL, MCL. That the knee. You don't mess with the knee, man. It is. It destroys careers. Achilles tendons too. You injure your Achilles in your heel and your ankle, dude. You might as well just retire now. But his name is Aaron Rodgers. However, how has he looked since that happened?
Yep, he's hot garbage.
He is. So I like that. Let's see. Biggie Bronco saying Hazel Closet Raider fan. Closet Raider fan. I'm telling you, watch the show. He's a closet Raider fan. I'll look for him to come out of the closet anytime. I was actually one of the. I was originally in the think tank that thought up the Wild Wild West, and I'm not going to say that Richie is a closet Raider fan. Richie is just one of those guys. He can, he recognizes things outside of his own team.
Richie is an unbiased sports analyst.
Incredible.
I really appreciate him not having orange and blue goggles on all the time.
Yeah, he's a diehard Broncos fan, but he tells it like it is.
Yeah, he
and I can say that. I can say that as someone who used to co-host with him on Broncos Talk. You know, he is unbiased. It's not always necessarily fun for us as Broncos fans when you got a guy who's a Broncos fan who's telling it like it is, you know, telling it like what he sees. A guy who, you know, for me, I love Justin Simmons. Justin Simmons is a friend of ours, a friend of our show. And Rich didn't like Justin Simmons on the show. So sometimes his takes were out, not always what we liked. But I will agree with you, Jay. What makes Rich different is that he's unbiased. And I love that about him. So, you know, big shout out to Richie Rich. Let me see. I had one in here for it. Let's see. No, that wasn't it. Okay, Ray Haas saying when I gave Riley Moss's stats there, he says, hell yeah. Dude, when I saw that stat, I was like, how is this guy not being talked more about in the NFL right now?
Yep.
I mean, you know, in the media, anywhere, people aren't talking about Riley Moss. And I'm like, I understand why. You know, once again, he's not just like PS2. He's not necessarily making these insanely flashy plays, but he's always where he needs to be, and he's always causing havoc. So
it's, you know, he's a very anonymous player. He does a lot of dirty work and does, you know, gets a lot of reads, you know, that kind of go unnoticed. So I really appreciate his game, and I'm happy that he's flourished in his role and his opportunity that he got this year.
Absolutely.
Speaking of opportunities, I want to bring up Bill Brewer's comment there, because this is something that I think has irked a lot of people. Of what is the point in adding people like A.T. Perry and is it David Parham? I don't know what it is. Donald Parham. Why are they on the practice squad if they're not going to get integrated into our team scheme at some point?
Exactly.
I think it's a little easier to say about A.T. Perry because he's young, and although he came from New Orleans, and although I think he was an original Sean Payton scouted player, I don't think his feet are, you know, wet enough to be able to go get thrown into a system mid-year.
Probably not.
Parham's a vet, but he's completely from a different scheme. And Sean Payton's scheme is way different than anyone else's.
And here's the thing, you know, like you brought up Joe's comment there, you know, regarding Parham and everything. We had one earlier in the show that I hadn't gotten to yet. I was planning on it, I promise you. Andy Schrant right here saying any reasons as why Parham hasn't been elevated. And what it comes down to, and at least from the insiders that I'm able to talk to, that I'm in contact with in Denver, around the organization, is that he like Jay just said, he comes from a completely different scheme. And one thing about him, he's not a quick learner. He is not a quick study.
Yeah, it's all up there.
It's all in there, but he is taking a long time to integrate and to understand.
But that's just the reason why tight ends as rookies don't progress very quickly, because you have to learn blocking schemes, you have to learn receiving schemes, you have to learn literally everything under the sun in the playbook.
Well, let's look at the tight end position. Let's look at the tight end position for a second, because that's kind of, I mean, Greg Dulcich is gone. We're talking Parham. Let's talk tight end for a minute. It's one of the most complicated positions on a football field, because unlike the wide receivers, who really just have to know how to run their routes and block, tight ends are basically they mix it up between being between being a member of the offensive line and then being a receiver. It is a very complicated position to play. It's very difficult, and that's why there aren't that many great ones. You know, you have them. We had them in guys like Sharp and Julius Thomas. They were special. And now, of course, you have guys out there like George Kittle and Travis Kelce and Brock Bowers. You have a few household names at that position, but otherwise, it's a pretty thin field of stars at that position, because it is such a complicated position to play.
Yeah.
Parham was good. We saw him. We played against him several times. He was a Charger. We've played him. We've seen him perform.
He's a physical freak. Like
Yes, he is.
He looks the part.
Yes, he does. And we've seen him make plays against us. You know, we saw him make plays against us last season on the Chargers. He is a good tight end. I don't know if I would say great. He's a good tight end. But again, coming from a completely different scheme into a new one mid-season, and Sean Payton's scheme, let's also be honest, is a very complicated scheme to pick up.
Long, drawn out.
It is not an easy scheme for anyone to pick up, let alone someone who's just now getting in, you know, who's coming from something that is from a scheme that is completely different. And so Parham he's there, and who knows, maybe we'll hold on to him next season. I don't know. But he's just not picking it up as quickly as, of course, I think we were all hoping or wanting. And I'm going to be honest with you. Even though I'd love to see him get on that field, if he's not ready to be on that field, I don't want him out there, because that's just a liability.
And that's,
so,
I mean, we don't have a tight end currently that fits the mold of Sean Payton. And that's why we give one target a game to the tight end room. Like, it's a absentee positional group. So it's one of those things where we will need to do our due diligence on our homework for this draft class of tight ends to make sure that we pick another cerebral player that can understand what Sean wants and doesn't just have raw physical skill.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like a lot of the time when you see, especially in the draft, and you guys will see it throughout, you know, in the offseason this year, you guys will see it from us. We love draft season. We love that time of year. We love analyzing, going over players. We love the draft. When it comes to tight ends, like Jay just said, I'm completely agreeing with you, cuz very often what you will see are these what's it called? Relative athletic RAS. Right?
Yep.
RAS score? Relative athletic skill set or something like that. I can't believe I'm forgetting it.
Freak athletes are too big to be wide receivers.
That's what Dulcich was.
Yep.
His RAS was insane.
Yeah.
He didn't necessarily have the ball skills that we were looking for, but he was freakishly athletic. And they had said when they drafted him, you know, in the third round in 2022, that he had the potential to be able to pick that kind of stuff up. Unfortunately, that athletic skill set wasn't enough, especially in a complicated system like Sean Payton's. So yes, you're absolutely right. We're not just going to go after the guy with the RAS, the ridiculously insane athletic ability. We want someone with athletic ability, but what you said I cannot even understate, Jay. And I might even take a clip of what you said right there for the future, for us to put up in the future, is when we if we target a tight end, which I fully expect us to in the draft, 100%. We need to be thinking about what's between his ears. Yep. As much as we need to be thinking about his athletic ability and his, how well he catches. So Jay, right there, we could end the show right there with what Jay just said. Because
it's just unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate because Greg Dulcich, I think, truly is a good football player, and I think he will get an opportunity on a different team. I mean, he's already signed with the Giants. I already said, Tommy DeVito probably isn't going to start this week. It's going to be Drew Lock throwing to Greg Dulcich. It's going to be eerie, and it's going to be cool to see, but, not for our team. But, but you know what? He can kick rocks. All done with Greg Dulcich.
Yep. Jonathan Blair, Greg Dulcich couldn't block a tree.
Yeah, he's terrible.
I mean, he is, and I'm honestly just glad he's out. I really am.
Alberto. I mean,
yeah. And we've seen that Alberto, Jake Butt, of all the positions that the Broncos have struggled to fill on the over the last decade, it's been the quarterback position up till Bo Nix, and the tight end position, right tackle too. Those are probably the three ones that have plagued us. That have plagued us the most this year. And it just, Yeah, I'm just God. I can't stand it. You know, it really sucks. You know what I mean? I
But
wish we could find the answer.
we're turning the corner. We got Georgie boy. I'm sure scouting college players as we speak. So I'm very hopeful for this draft class that we're about to get because we have a full slate of draft picks. We got plenty of darts in the apron, as they say. So we're gonna fill our needs finally. So it's
Yes.
gonna be a really good offseason with that in combination of having some money finally. So
Absolutely.
it's time to cut the
And
fat, and Dulcich was the fat on this team. Be done with him.
Yes.
You know, if he's going to be an inactive all game, cut the cord. What is the point?
right. We got this question here from Ray Haas, our good friend, and again, as always, I love your vintage Orange Crush sign, dude. That is so wicked. I would love to have had something like that for my man cave, but love it. And we appreciate you. He says, remaining schedule: Browns, Colts, Chargers, Bengals, Chiefs. Can we rank their defensive lines best to worst? Okay, so
they all actually have pretty dang good defensive lines.
Pretty dang good. Cleveland, right now, and this is, see, I couldn't do this off the top of my head because I haven't sat and done this research. So I'm doing it right here, right now, while we're live. I'm looking at this. It looks like of the remaining schedule, ranking the best to worst, the Bengals have the top defensive line, at least as far as run defense goes.
Trey Hendrickson, he's a baller.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then literally right behind them in the defensive line. I'm going off of run defense. Obviously, we could talk about pressures and other stuff.
They're kind of one and the same to a certain extent. Like,
hang on, you know what? I'm gonna redo this. I'm gonna redo this real quick. Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize. I hit the wrong thing. Going back, scratch. Reverse that, scratch it, whatever you want to do.
Good in the hood.
In terms of run defense, the Cleveland Browns have the best defensive line. In fact, they're ranked number 2 in run defense right now.
Yeah.
I would not look. I'm excited about this game. I know it's a winnable game at home on a Monday night in Denver against the Browns, but I would not look for the run game to get going against them. They have second overall, right now, PFF ranked the second overall best defensive line. Let's see. Who do we have left here? We said we have Colts, Chargers, Bengals.
I was going to say, other than DeForest Buckner, the Colts really don't have a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
Chargers aren't too bad.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think with
Next on that list is the Chiefs. They're ranked 6th overall in the NFL for run defense. Again, but you know what? We've played them already, and we've seen our running backs actually kind of go off against them. So maybe we have a bit of an answer there. We'll see. But that's next. So right now it goes Browns, Chiefs. Then we have the Chargers. They're ranked 13th overall in run defense. Right behind them, ranked at 14th overall, is the Indianapolis Colts, and then right behind them is, and then a couple spots behind them, ranked 16th, is the Bengals. So there you go. It goes Browns, Chiefs, Chargers, Colts, Bengals. Best to worst defensive line, at least as far as run defense goes.
It's going to be tough sledding on all of the above, because they all are, top half of the league in that category. Like they're all pretty well at that. And I keep saying, like, I know he hasn't struck in the past versus us, but like Myles Garrett should not be taken lightly. He is a scary man, much like, Mad Max that we just dealt with. It's just not someone you want to F around with, especially with how McGlinchey played. I guess other than the first quarter, he played okay. But
yeah,
just in an overall sense, just make a note of that. Cleveland doesn't have as bad a defense as what their stats say. They've underperformed quite a bit of this season, but it'll be a really close game, I think. I do not think that will be a blowout.
Now, we have this question here from, where is it? Joe Brewer saying, wasn't Ryan Clady a right tackle?
He was the best left tackle we've probably had since. Yeah, he was a left tackle.
I think
Boise State
in his Boise State product, and I believe he had in his first contract, 5-year contract with the Broncos. I think he gave up 1 sack.
Yeah, dude, he was dominant. He was in the Jay Cutler era, I believe.
Unbelievable! It was wonderful.
Went and played. I want to say maybe 2 seasons with the Jets, and then he was done. Like he was pretty short-lived after his Denver stint.
He was, unfortunately. He was great in Denver, but he got hurt and he couldn't. He was followed up, I believe, by Tyler Columbus.
No, he was right. He was a right tackle.
Columbus was right.
Man, who
followed him
after him?
Oh man, I can't remember. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah, that might bug me. All right,
but was it pot roast? Was it pot roast?
No, pot roast is defensive line.
Yeah, that's right. God, I loved him.
We'll get back to that.
Thank you, Joe. Joe got it. Orlando Franklin.
No, he was right as well. No, he was right.
Was he?
Yeah.
I thought he was left.
I will look it up.
Please do. All right. Anyway, we will continue to roll on. We're at 51 minutes right now. We can go for a little while longer. Keep having fun. We have some comments in here that look like they're coming in on Twitch from MHRT Network. Unfortunately, I don't believe they're for our show.
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
We have 2 shows going on right now on MHRT Network and Orange and Blue Network, and I believe that they took precedence on the Twitch stream. So sometimes when we do that, unfortunately, the Twitch comments for the other show land on ours. So kind of interesting. They're talking. It looks like they're that's what is it? Sports, whiskey, and nonsense, or something like that over there.
I think so.
Apparently right now they're talking wrestling. So
I'll leave that to them.
Ryan Harris.
That I think he was left.
It was.
But I'm seeing Chris Clark was right after. But I don't think there was a solidified person for quite a bit.
Not a great thing there. Bob Skinner comes popping in saying winning feels damn good, right? Oh, Bob, you took the words right out of my mouth, my friend. I mean, it always does. And again, I saw a lot of kind of downers on the Broncos after the Raiders game. And I just kept telling myself exactly what we said in post.
It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
Well, can I shed some just a little bit of water on the fire here?
Yeah, so, would you please make like a Sharpay and shed?
Yeah, I'm gonna be a little hater just for a hot second. I love that power rankings are recognizing us as a top 10 team in the league. And I think that's great and all. But at the end of the day, guys, we came into this season with expectations to get 6 wins. That would have been an over for the total. This was a rebuilding year. We had very low bar for this season. Thus far, the only 2 teams we have beat in the AFC are the Raiders and the Jets, which both are dumpster fires. We obviously should have beat those 2 teams. Now, you can't control your schedule. I get that. But, let's all understand and be realistic to where we are here. And that once we get into the playoffs, we thus far have not beaten any team that's going to be in the playoffs so far, other than the Bucs. That is literally the only win in the entire season that I think will be in the playoffs. Because I think the Falcons are...
Falcons. No,
I think the Falcons are dipping real quick. They may make...
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
We'll see. But I just... Let's all temper expectations just a tidbit here. We are not a top 5 team in the league here.
All right. So you now that you've been Debbie Downer on us.
I am.
All right?
I'm a little Debbie Downer.
And here's the thing. And here's the thing. Since you've been Debbie Downer, and we all know that you are, you have a completely not secret love affair with Little Debbie.
I'm definitely not a closet Raider fan, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Since you've been Debbie Downer now, and I know that you have your love affair with Little Debbie. Why don't you shove some Little Debbies in your mouth for a minute while I bring us back up? Okay.
There you go.
Here's how I see it. I am not as down on them right now as you are, and I get that. I get what you're saying. But what you did say in there that is absolutely right. We couldn't control our schedule. And let us not forget, we got beat by the Chargers. That sucked. But let's not forget what happened in the first play of that game. The guy who literally makes all the difference in the world for our defense, allows our defense to play the way that they do, got concussed on the first play of that game. And the Chargers were able to capitalize upon it. That's not happening again.
You're right.
That's not happening again. Okay, we lost to the Chiefs. But you know what? That shouldn't have been a loss. We actually like how many people from Chiefs Kingdom, Jay, have said directly to you and I, the Broncos won that game.
A lot.
We should not have had that.
Not wrong.
It happened. Casey, like Bob Skinner says, Casey got lucky. I can't call it luck because they game planned for one situation, and that was to knock Alex Forsythe on his ass. And guess what? They executed it perfectly, but 9 times out of 10, even when they did knock Alex Forsythe down, that field goal doesn't get blocked. So I will still say, yeah, kind of got lucky there. Now, that being said, the Ravens, they took it to us. I will say that. But once again, I don't think, and I said this post game, Jay, on Sunday, is that I think when we played the Ravens, this team was still Bo Nix, this team. Every facet was still trying to find their footing in a lot of ways as a team as a whole. And I feel like during the game against the Chiefs is when we saw them find that footing. So if we had to take them on again, they might beat us in the postseason. Probably likely would beat us in the postseason, but I think we'd stand a better chance and we would look better against them in that situation. And like
Steelers is another example of what you just said. We got that was the second week of the year where Bo had no idea what he was doing quite yet.
No,
totally different team now than
absolutely.
It was then. So
and the Steelers are doing great. The Steelers are doing great. Russell Wilson's doing great. But I honestly can say, I think going toe to toe, it would be with these two teams.
Love a first round matchup in Pittsburgh.
I have said this. I said this. I said it post game, Jay. I truly believe that the current trajectory of this team, the way that they're playing, the way Bo's playing, the way the offense is executing, the wide receivers are finally giving him weapons that he can use. The defense is still playing at an all season long, an elite level. I do not believe that there is a single team in this league that we can't beat. I'm not saying any of them it'll all be easy. I'm not saying we're going to the Super Bowl. I'm saying we have the potential to beat any team in this league right now. And that's more than we can say for any season over the last 10 years.
100%.
That's where we are now. With this win over the Raiders, we went up to our chances of making the playoffs. We secured we held on to the 7th seed for another week. That's 3 weeks in a row. We are still holding on to the 7th seed. And by the way, the closest team to us right now is 2 games back. They are 2 games back on us right now, okay? And with 73% chance of making the playoffs now, listen, we're on the yellow brick road. The Emerald City is in sight. It's there. We can see it. Now we just got to keep skipping. We got to skip across the field of poppies, not fall asleep, and reach the Emerald Gates, man. We can do this. Follow the yellow brick, follow the yellow brick, follow the yellow brick road. I'm just saying, we can do it. It's nowhere near out of reach, Jay. Nowhere near. Now, I get what you're saying about the power rankings. Like Timon said it earlier. CBS has us ranked top 10. So does ESPN. But USA Today ranked us 14th.
Yeah.
Now, So that means that not everybody in the national media is on that page of putting the Broncos on that pedestal, and that's fine. I don't care, because those are just those are analysts. Those are people who rely on numbers, and they're all looking at it a different way when they make these power ranking lists. And ultimately, I have seen, how many times in the past have we seen a power ranking list go absolutely awry?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
So Bob Skinner says, "Hey, I'm so happy, Debbie Downer."
I saw a lot of Broncos country on the Twitter today getting a little ahead of themselves, in my opinion, with what the national media has been starting to boast about us. And like, I'm all for it, but like, I just kind of feel like we need to understand what this season's all about and what the goal of this season was. Like, we're not ready for a Super Bowl run. I know we want it, but like, we're not there yet.
But Jay, couldn't it happen? I mean, couldn't it happen? Think about it.
I just don't know.
Get there. Get to the playoffs.
Just don't know.
Get to the playoffs. Take on the 2nd seed. We are 7th seed right now, with the potential of taking the 6th seed. We do have the potential to take the 6th seed. Who, playing the 2nd or 3rd seed, right?
I will be.
We have. I said it. We have the potential to be any team in this league right now.
I think the Chargers are going to slide. The Chargers' schedule is incredibly tough. If we can get the number 5 seed or the number 6 seed, I think no matter what, we're not getting the 5th seed, because it's going to be Pittsburgh, Baltimore fighting it out for that division, and one of them's getting that 5th seed. So I think it's going to be 6th seed, which would put us up against probably Baltimore, I would think, because Buffalo's going to be 2, Kansas City's going to be 1. I don't want to play Buffalo first round. I don't want to go to Buffalo.
No, I don't either.
So if we could just get the 6th seed and not the 7th,
but like I said,
world's different.
But like I said, I do believe wholeheartedly. I'm not now. Please, whoever's watching this right now, don't go taking a clip of this saying Johnny from Nothing Wrong Georgia Blue said we're going to the Super Bowl. I did not say that. I mean, look at the Vegas odds on it. They're not good. Okay, they're not good odds at all. What I'm saying is, I've already said it. We have the potential right now of beating any team in the NFL. We went toe-to-toe and had the win against the defending Super Bowl champs, at that time undefeated Super Bowl champions, who are making their run for a three-peat, and we almost had them. Okay, we got embarrassed by the Ravens, but I don't think a second meeting with the Ravens will be that big of a blowout again. I do not believe that at all. And so what I'm saying is, I'm not saying we're going to the Super Bowl. I'm not. That would be foolish of me. What I am saying is, let's get to that first. Let's get, like I said, end of the yellow brick road, Emerald City, going through those gates. To see the Wizard. That's the playoffs. We are almost there. 73% chance right now. That is 23% higher than 500, which is more than we have had in almost a decade.
And I will say, if you are looking at the stats, or the standings, and you're looking at remaining schedules for the team still in play in the hunt, everyone needs to be a Green Bay Packer fan and get that W up against the Dolphins, because we need to kill the Dolphins before they start getting steam. That is a team that scares the hell out of me if they get into a position where they're on the cusp and it's realistic for them to fight for that last spot. Not that concerned about the Colts, not that concerned about the Bengals, but the Dolphins.
We saw the Bengals against the Chargers the other day on Monday Night Football, last week on Monday Night Football, and it was, what?
Yeah.
Joe Cool Burrow, okay, Slim Shady, sit down. But please, with the real Slim Shady, please sit down. The
Colts are mid. The Colts are not great, but they have the easiest schedule out of all of them. Other than us, I think we are their toughest left opponent.
Yeah, and I don't think they're going to have an answer
I wouldn't think.
for us. Bob Skinner, who cares? We're not the Raiders.
Thank God.
Thank God to that, my friend. But I mean, Bob Skinner said wilder things have happened.
Super Bowl wise, I mean, no one predicted 2015 to happen.
Not at all. I'm not saying that we're going to the Super Bowl, so please don't misquote me. What I'm saying is we have the potential to beat any team in the NFL right now, and therefore, it's not outside the realm of possibility. It's like it's Lloyd Christmas in Dumb and Dumber, okay? So you're saying there's a chance, you know? I call me the optimist. Call me the orange, where I'm wearing my orange goggles.
You are,
but and let me see. Oh, I see. Okay, here's a question for you. Or well, it's not a really question. This is Ray responding to us, thanking us for answering his question about the ranking the defensive lines. He says, "Thank you for taking the time to answer my question, guys. I'm suspect AF of our O-line." Okay. I can see where you are. Alex Smith even addresses it. Who are you suspect of on our O-line? So to answer this or to talk about it, Jay, I don't know if you want to go first or if you want me to on this. I don't, either way.
You go for it.
All right. This offensive line is one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. Now, are they great? Are they great at run blocking? Sometimes. They're not the best at that. But look at our pass protection from this O-line. Bo Nix has more time than any other QB in the NFL. Top offensive line in pass protection in the NFL. Bo Nix has more time per pass or per snap to throw the football than any other quarterback in the NFL. That is not something to scoff at.
I think there's also something to be said about the difference year over year of Russell versus Bo in just how you can, sacks are, yes, a thing about offensive line performance, but it's also your quarterback and what your quarterback does to manipulate that line and pocket. Yes. Bo is extremely good at manipulating pocket and being aware, whereas Russell was awful. So that's a huge difference in and itself of that specific stat. But man, I don't know. I think our offensive line is extremely well paid. I think our offensive line is
they are that, cuz they are that.
It's probably one of the most expensive units in the NFL. So they should be very good from a performance standpoint, and they are. They really are. Honestly, Wattenberg in the center position was my biggest worry coming into the season. That's why we were talking about foresight and talking about that positional battle. But as it's come through, I actually have probably more worries about Ben Powers than I do anyone on that line. He would probably be my one pivot of like, ooh, are you worth the amount of money you're making right now, bud? Like, because he's making a pretty penny. McGlinchey is also making a lot of money, and I know we've talked about Pelchevsky, and is that going to be a move that we make in the offseason to cut some cost, and what we can do to manipulate, cost savings for this offensive line. But for this year specifically, it doesn't get a whole lot better than this in recent years of our offensive line production. This offensive line has been killer versus what we have experienced in our recent history. So
yeah, I mean, okay. I hear what you were saying about them being, they're not great at run defense or at run blocking. I mean, and when I say that, what I mean is like, I wouldn't say they're bad either. They're just not great at opening those big holes that you see some other teams open for their running backs. But I mean, I'll take the fact that our quarterback between the time he has given, to throw the ball, and then of course his escapability, the amount of sacks that have been given up this season by this offensive line, it's tantamount to incredible.
Yeah.
And I can't not be behind it. I'm trying to pull it up right now. I want to see how many sacks Bo has taken in a total this season.
I will say that's why Bo has seen development and progression every single week this year, is because he has time to think. He's not seeing ghosts. And so often rookie quarterbacks are put into team situations that have garbage protection around them. And that's why most rookie quarterbacks really struggle. Look at Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, his offensive line has not been doing well for them. They released a guard that they signed for multiple guaranteed $1 million just because he literally was just playing like garbage for his rookie quarterback. They're not helping him up. Like, bad toxic situation over there. And we have the opposite.
Now, and let me just put this in perspective. And I'm going to do it between these two rookies that we just mentioned. Bo Nix, huh? What?
Oh, nothing. Just Eric.
Oh, let me see. Who's sniffing fingers?
I think you are.
Oh, no, that's not what I'm doing at all. But that's okay. No, I'm vaping, as a matter of fact. I just hide it. I hide it behind my hand.
I think Eric thought something different, but I'm glad you you cleared that up.
I get what he's saying now. I get what he's saying now. But no, I'm vaping there. But and Jonathan Blair saying, "Thank God no one is tanking." D-Rock is doing what I said don't do. He's taking my words out of context. 08 Giants, Baki said it's happening. And Bob Skinner, I heard it, D-Rock. No, you guys didn't. Don't dare. Don't you dare. Ben Powers in any center, says D-Rock. Yeah. But like Bob Skinner said, watch Wilson and sacks. 8 to 13 sacks is the total for Knicks. Actually, the real number, and this is what I was going to talk about real quick. Eric laughed. Yeah, no, I wasn't sniffing my fingers. That's this, dude. No, I was
Captain Bungholio over here.
Hi, I get Bungholio. But no, I wanted to talk like what you were talking about, bringing up these two quarterbacks, these rookies, right? Offensive line. You know, we were talking about pass protection. Yeah.
Yep.
Now, talking about it, since you brought up Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears, let's talk sack totals on these two quarterbacks this season. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Caleb Williams, so far this season, going into where are we at now? Week 13?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah. Going now into week 13, Caleb Williams has taken 44 sacks this season. Now,
damn.
Get ready. Now, Jay, I want to see I wanted you to guess how many sacks over 12 weeks. How many sacks has Bo Nix taken in 12 weeks?
I would say 13.
Okay, you're a little low, unfortunately, but still, the number is actually 19.
That's still like hardly anything.
Okay, now when you consider that most teams record at least 2 to 3 sacks per game.
Yeah.
Okay, we are looking at one of the lowest sack counts in the NFL right now on Bo Nix. Top 5. I don't know the actual number, and I'm not going to take the time to try to find the crazy stat that someone has out there on it. But 19 sacks in just 12 weeks. Dude, that is nothing to scoff at.
And I would venture to imagine you take out the first 4 weeks of the season. We're averaging a sack a game. Like, he has balled out in that manner in the past, like, recent history.
Not this week, but the week before against Atlanta, the only sack that he took was because it was basically caused by his right tackle getting pushed backwards.
Yeah, he tripped over his own foot.
He got tripped. It wasn't even a true sack.
Yep.
If McGlinchey hadn't been right there that minute, and Bo had just, Bo was not expecting that. He was looking for a dude to come rushing at him, and it didn't happen that way. He got tripped. So look, I get what you're saying about the offensive line. I want them to be able to open bigger and better holes for these running backs to get their game going. But at the same time, when it comes to their pass protection, their protection of their protection of who I believe, and I'm pretty sure most of you now do too, is the future of this franchise. The way that they are protecting our quarterback, I will take that over anything else.
Definitely. I mean, you're right.
So Alex Smith says, I don't want Knicks to be getting sacked. And no, I mean, nobody does. But the fact of the matter remains, there are, in every game, sacks happen because there are literally people on that field whose job it is to go after that one guy all the time. It would be unrealistic to say no sacks.
And I will say, Caleb Williams probably brought 15 of those on himself. Self-inflicted sacks because he's
very much like Russell Wilson.
Correct. 100%. Yeah, man, that's a major difference. That is
it's one of those things. It's one of those things.
That's the recipe for Bo's success thus far this year.
Yes.
That right there.
You give him the protection, he will move the ball, and he protects it too. Let's talk about that. How many interceptions has Bo thrown this season? Let me look this up. I'm going to look it up real quick.
He's got a great ratio. I know that. Obviously, again, I would love to see the stats remove. First couple weeks of the year that were awful.
Yeah. Now, Bo Nix, 16 touchdowns on the season so far. 16 touchdowns in the air. And remember this, it took him 4 weeks. No, was it 3? 3 or 4 weeks. 3 weeks to get his first touchdown in the air. So that's pretty, that's not ideal, but when you think that since then, since week 3, he's had 16 touchdown passes, he's only thrown in the entire 2024 season 6 interceptions. 16-6. Yeah. That's an incredible ratio for a rookie quarterback.
That's
so he also is taking care of that ball in a big way, man. And that's huge.
That's why he is the rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year. And it's going to happen. Crystal balls.
I believe it.
To fruition. Jaden Daniels is only trending down. Dude, it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Where it's trending. So
absolutely. I'm all here for it, man. And so let's talk a little bit more on the Browns before we get out of here about this Browns game. It's coming up on Monday. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself on Sunday.
I know.
And as much as I love those primetime games, dude, doing our podcasts, it kind of is rough because then we got to wake up the next morning for work.
Well, but isn't it wild that we're literally going to have 2 Sundays in a row because we got the bye the next week?
Yeah.
2 Sundays in a row are off.
It's crazy. But Monday night against the Browns. Now, we've talked about this a little bit. Leading man on the Browns right now is Jameis Winston.
Yep.
And we can discuss some here.
Crab legs, eating them done.
Yeah. Gotcha. Every time. But let's talk about it a little bit. Jameis Winston has some strong familiarity with our head coach.
It's true.
But
if you want to talk about familiarity, PS2 against our arch nemesis Jerry Jeudy, Mr. Footwork himself. Can't wait. Oh, there's going to be a pick on
and think about this. They were taking what? 1 draft apart?
Yeah.
By the Broncos.
Alabama
they were in Alabama together. They came, they were 1 draft apart on the Broncos. They practiced against each other for forever. If there's anybody who knows how to guard Jerry Jeudy, it's Pat Surtain.
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
That's going to be insane.
Jerry Jeudy hate is going to be thick. I feel like for this game. I can't wait.
Oh, I fully expect just a flurry of booing when he takes the field.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
There's not many former Broncos I dislike more than Jerry Jeudy. Melvin Gordon right up there as well. But I can't stand him. Couldn't stand him pretty much any time he was here.
I didn't like him when he was here.
Nope.
I never did. I wanted in that draft, dude. I wanted Justin Jefferson or CD Lamb. And who did we take? We took Jerry
I wanted Henry Ruggs. I thought Henry Ruggs was going to be a killer.
Well, I mean, he is the best wide receiver at the Las Vegas State Penitentiary.
Yeah, he is. Adam
but,
Sandler will use him.
But oh yeah, but I hear they have the softest mattresses there. I love that movie. But
That's a good one.
But as far as like the Jerry Jeudy hate is gonna be palpable, dude. You can cut it; it'll be so thick you can cut it with a knife. And Pat Surtain is probably the best person in. He's already the best cornerback in the NFL. Blanket coverage corner in the NFL, absolutely. And he's going to be lining up against a guy he has played against or has practiced against more than probably any other cornerback and wide receiver have ever.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's going to be, and of course I really do hope though that we do see some Pat Surtain on David Njoku, because that's a weapon.
Yeah. I mean, it's
weapon.
true. It's true. You're not wrong.
But
I can't wait to see Jerry Jeudy, throw his helmet down on the ground.
As far as Jameis Winston, who's is now, got the Browns not necessarily on an upward trajectory, but he's taken them out of their nosedive and helped them kind of like level off.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this, like, while Jameis Winston has great familiarity with Sean Payton made him into who he is now.
Yeah.
And so there is nobody better to scheme to like in the meetings this week with VJ. Oh my gosh, I wish I could be a fly on the wall listening to Sean Payton telling him, well, Jameis will do this. Jameis will do that. So look for this. And then of course, VJ taking that knowledge, that information, and building his defensive game plan out of it. I am really excited to see what this defense can do there. Oh, there we go. KBA2, what's up, fellas? Jeudy has known PS2 since they were little kids, and PS2 was a running back. Apparently a very good running back. I would absolutely
not doubt that at all.
By the way, dude,
I was just going to say, by the way, Mr. Booker, I loved your appearance on the 5280 podcast tonight. It was a nice refresh to see your lovely face. So keep killing it, sir.
Lots of love, Kenny.
Absolutely.
And by the way, I fully plan when I make it to Denver, we're going to Texas State, Brazil, and we're having dinner, brother. Like that is a thing that is happening.
More of a Fogo de Chao person myself.
What is wrong with you? Have you ever been to Jay? I'm going to ask because it got asked on the neighborhood this week. Have you ever been to a Brazilian steakhouse?
Yeah, Fogo de Chao.
Oh, that is a Brazilian steakhouse?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, well, we don't have that here. But we had a Texas State, Brazil. And I mean, dude, the thought of being able to flip a dot at your table and just get an unlimited amount of meat.
See, they got flags.
Throw on your plate.
You put your flag up and you're ready to go. Same thing.
See, at Texas State, Brazil, it's a dot, and it sits by your plate, and it's red on one side and green on the other. You want them to stop bringing meat, you flip it to red. But you want them to start coming out with the skewers, just with every kind of meat you can imagine. You flip it to green, and they just walk up and they're like, steak, lamb.
Every time I go to places like that, I always get the uncomfortable meat sweats after. And I just feel really wrong. Something's wrong with my body right now. But it's good. Well worth the like $80, $90 it takes to eat there, but still.
Yeah, no, I love Brazilian steakhouses. It's probably one of my favorite kind of restaurants to go to. Unfortunately, the only two that were in our area here in the Nashville area got shut down by COVID. COVID ran them out of business.
Yeah.
And that was a Texas State, Brazil in a place that was here called Redigio, and it's gone now too.
I would be very upset, Johnny, if the next time you go to Denver, you're not going to Casa Bonita. I know that's on my short list of going back to. Fully open and ready to go. And
we spent our childhood every single year we went to Casa Bonita as a family.
Have your children been there?
My oldest has.
Okay. I was going to say none of my children have been there yet. So I can't wait to
give out that experience.
Yeah, my oldest went when he was, I want to say it was right before my middle son was born. So I believe my wife was actually pregnant with him. So my oldest would have been about 4 years old or 5 when we took him. But yeah, that'll definitely be a thing. But I'm definitely gonna me and KB82. We definitely gonna meet up next time I'm in Denver. We're gonna have some delicious meat and other wonderful foods at Texas Day Brazil in Denver.
There you go.
But
so I want to tell you just one quick thing. I want to show the Cleveland Denver money line and the betting odds right now. Denver favored by 5.5 with an over under of 41.5.
It's literally almost identical to the odds that were on the Raiders game.
Yeah. I would have expected a little bit higher odds, I think, for us, and I would have expected a little bit lower of an over-under. So they're kind of thinking, maybe quite a bit of points getting put up. Not that low scoring of a game, and a pretty close game at that. So it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds and how that changes throughout the week.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, one thing that I want to say about how the Raiders game went and all the downers that I saw about that is that one thing people always forget to take into account is that it's a divisional game.
Sure.
And for whatever reason, whether you want to say it's because we play each other all the time or whatever, divisional games always go different than any other games for a team every year, every season.
Absolutely.
Granted, there are 6 divisional games for every team, every season, which is, I mean, that's almost a third of your schedule. It is a third of your, it's basically a third of your schedule is divisional games. But we've seen divisional games go in directions we would never thought they would. I mean, look at the Browns over the Ravens earlier this season. Nobody in their right mind would have picked the Browns to take down the Ravens in a spectacular fashion, I might add.
Mm-hmm.
And there are other examples. I mean, look at just this last week, Texans and Titans.
Yeah.
That's
the Mayo Clinic.
It was,
that was crazy.
Yeah, Will Levis. Will Levis and the Texans destroyed CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
Nobody would have called that.
Nope.
Divisional games are different. This is not a divisional game. I'm not saying we're going to blow them out of the water like we did Atlanta, but I'm also highly optimistic on this game.
I agree.
And
Kenny comes back and says, plus 500 odd, Jameis Winston weirdly licks his fingers in front of his teammates. Yeah. He's an interesting character, man.
He's a weird guy.
He is.
He really is, man.
And he always has been. I remember
he really has.
Florida State in college. He was just, dude, you're strange. Like
you are a weird guy, man.
Yeah, very much so.
Anyway, Broncos Country, that's going to pretty much do it for us. We are really excited about the trajectory that this season is taking for the Broncos. I personally only expect it to continue to go up and and to end this season in a place that we have not been in almost a decade. And for me, that is the playoffs. I think we're going. I really do.
For sure.
So I'm really happy. I hope you're happy. Thank you for joining us on tonight's episode of Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast. If this is your first time watching and you haven't done it already, or you're watching this on Orange and Blue Network or on MHRT Network rather, please jump on over to Orange and Blue Network. Give us a like, subscribe, share, and comment on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and check out the audio version of all of our podcasts on all your favorite platforms. But if you're on Orange and Blue Network right now and you haven't done so already, please jump on over to our partner where we simulcast every single episode of our shows on MHRT Network. Like, subscribe, share, comment on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch. They're even on Instagram. So please show both networks some love. We'd really appreciate it, you guys. Ring that little notification bell so that you know whenever we go live and you don't miss a single minute of our content on either channel. We appreciate you guys joining us tonight. We're going to leave you with a big Mile High salute. We will see you
Johnny.
Sunday. Oh, what?
We need to leave them with a request that we've gotten.
We have not rolled that out in a hot second.
Oh, man, I came up with this years ago, and I tried very hard at the time to make it into a thing that would be widely used in Broncos country, and it didn't happen. So let's try again. Let's do this, guys. This is the Mile High Five. It's very easy. You put your hands out to your sides. I shout Mile High Five, and you clap your hands up above your head as high as you can. It's the Mile High Five, baby. So it's going to be fun. I forgot to shout out our other shows real quick. Don't forget, tomorrow night for Orange and Blue Network. These are Orange and Blue Network shows. Don't forget, Broncos Talk goes live on Wednesday nights, 8765 on Orange and Blue Network and MHRT Network. Adon Diaz, Ty Y, the fantasy guy. We love it. Then, Viva los Broncos! If you speak Spanish or you want to learn to speak Spanish, I highly recommend our brand new and first ever in the world fan-led, entirely in Spanish Denver Broncos podcast called Viva los Broncos, hosted by Adon Diaz and Bronco Libre, which will be going live Friday night, 8765. We will be with you guys pregame, 1 hour before game time on Monday, not Sunday, Monday this week. Yeah. And we will be with you for the post-game show, the Buck Your Feelings post-game show, right after the game on Monday night. Thank you guys for joining us, and if you guys will help me end this show in a big way with something with our own unique brand of fandom here, get your arms out with me for a big high five.
Oh yeah! Yes! Oh my God! Oh, felt so good.
We love you, Broncos country. We love you, Orange and Blue crew. We will see you next time here on the Orange and Blue Network and MHRT Network. Go Broncos!
Orange and Blue, we're here for you. Talking Broncos all day through. Stopping us, we're on the loose. Come join the crew, no bad news. Podcast vibes so fresh and true. Nothing rhymes with Orange and Blue. Catching up on all that we knew.